Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel and this video. So today we're going to go with another chapter, that is the United Nations Organization. The United Nations or UN is an intergovernmental organization. It is established on 24th October 1945 to promote international peace, cooperation and security. The UN was a replacement of the inefficient and inept Leagues of Nations. The United Nations or UN had 51 member states in the beginning. At present, the number of member states are 193. Its headquarters is situated in Manhattan, New York City, which is like an international territory. The current Secretary General of UN is Antonio Guterres, which is of Portugal. The United Nations or UN consists of 6 principal organs. However, at present, only 5 principal organs are in operation. The Trusteeship Council, a 6th principal organ, suspended in the operation in 1994 when the last remaining United Trustee territory got independence. The United Nations or UN is committed to solve serious international crises amicably. So undoubtedly, the UN is an important force of international peace and human development. It mirrors the hope of consequences of the world. The UN aims economic, social, cultural, and scientific development of different countries of the world, particularly the underdeveloped and developing countries. For this, the UN has formed a number of specialized agencies that work according to the aims and objectives of the UN. They aim at providing better standards of living, work opportunities, scientific progress, and establishment of peace among its member countries. The United Nations aims at the economic, social, cultural, and scientific development. So these agencies are autonomous organizations that work under guidance of the United Nations. So let us see these agencies. So first of all, let's go for the origin of the UN. How did it originate? So the First World War, which was in AD 1914 to 1918, led to an enormous loss of manpower and property. After the War of Leagues of Nations was formed, maintain peace among the different nations. But the Leagues of Nations failed to achieve these objectives. And led to a Second World War, which was in AD 1939 to 1945. This war caused more plunder and consequences and sufferings than the First World War. It was an urgent need to the world to prevent the occurrence of these wars. During the course of Second World War, President of US Franklin D. Roosevelt and Prime Minister of Britain Winston Churchill came with the idea of an organization that would be powerful than Leagues of Nations in promoting international peace. The two leaders got support from other countries in their initiative. Let us just know about Franklin Delano Roosevelt and Sir Winston Churchill. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, AD 1882 to 1945, was an 32nd President of US, which was their office was about AD 1933 to 45. known as very much FDR. He was the only American president to be elected for an office third term in office. Now let's go for Sir Winston Churchill, AD 1874 to 1965, was a Prime Minister of Britain. And like how much years? That was of AD 1951 to 55. He led Britain throughout the Second World War. He forged the alliance which defeated in Axis power. In AD 1953, he won a Nobel Prize for Literature. His writings include The Second World War, AD 1948 to 53, A History of English-Speaking Peoples. So that is of AD 1956 to 58. Now let's go for the Declaration of Atlantic Character in AD 1941. In August 1941, Roosevelt and Churchill issued a declaration known as Atlantic Charter. Main objectives started in this charter were to maintain international peace and security, to encourage international cooperation in the sphere of social, economic, cultural development of the world, to develop friendly relation among the nation, to recognize fundamental rights and status of the people. Now let's go to our declaration. That is the Washington Declaration, AD 1942. In January 1942, the representatives of 26 allied states met at Washington, D.C. and made a joint declaration known as Declaration of United Nations. By this declaration, they recognized the principle of underlying Atlantic Charter 1941. The word United Nations was also used for the first time during this meeting. Next objective, next thing was the Dumbarton Oaks Conference, AD 1944. Representatives of the 4 states meet at Dumbarton Oaks, USA, to prepare a draft proposal for United Nations Organization. Next conference was the San Francisco Conference, which was of AD 1945. A meeting of allied nations was held at San Francisco, USA, in which Charter of United Nations was discussed and signed by 51 participating countries. The UN Charter became effective on 24th of October 1945. When the functioning of the United Nations Organization initiated effectively, therefore 24 October is celebrating as United Nations Days every year. The UN Charter defines, propose and the structures of United Nations. Now let's go for the headquarters. The headquarters of United Nations Organization is located in the New York City, USA. All the organs of UN except the International Court of Justice function from New York. Flag. The United Nations flag was adopted on 17th December 1946. It consists of UN emblem, 2 bent olive branches, open at the top in between, in white on the light blue background. The olive branches was like symbol of peace. To summarize all the things, is the headquarters of UN is at New York City, International Territory, Official languages are Arabic, English, French, Chinese, Russian, and Spanish. There are more languages, but these are some of the officials. So memberships are 193 member states and 2 are observer states. And at the beginning, when just UN started, at that time it was only 51. Now it became 193. And the Secretary General is Antonio Guterres of Portugal. So let's talk about a little bit about official languages. Official languages of United Nations or UN are Arabic, English, French, Chinese, Russian, Spanish. These are 5 of them. And a speech is given in any one of these languages, simultaneously translated into other 5 languages. Now let's go for this finance thing. Finance. The member states of UN contribute towards its expenses. The amount of contribution to be made is determined by the General Assembly on the recommendations of its committee on the contribution. Now let's go for the memberships. The UN was formed in 51 states as it hits its foundation. When it was founded, it was only 51 states. However, the membership of UN is open to all peace-loving nations, which agrees with the objectives and abide of its principle. At present, there are 193 member states. The admission, suspension, and expulsion of the members is decided by the General Assembly on recommendation of Secretary Council by 2/3. Majority of votes, 2/3 of majority votes, what should be recommended, some admission, some suspensions, or any sort of decisions, it was voted, and the majority of them wins. So almost all countries of the world are members of United Nations. Objectives of UN. The objective of UN are to maintain international peace and security, to develop friendly relations among the nations, to achieve international cooperation in solving different problems concerning humanity, to act as a common center of harmonizing the activities of different countries in the attainment of these objectives, to promote human rights, to promote the environment and provide humanitarian aid in case of famine, natural disaster, and armed conflict. Principles of UN. Their principles, so let's just go for the principles. All member states shall have a sovereign equality. All member states shall abide by UN Charter. All member states shall settle their mutual dispute by peaceful means. No member state shall use force or threat to the international security, peace, and justice. All member states shall help in the attainment of goals of the UN. The UN will not interfere in the internal affairs of any member state. All member states shall provide the UN assistance in any action of it takes it accordance of the UN Charter. Organs of UN. UN has 6 principal organs: the General Assembly, the Security Council, the International Court of Justice, Economic and Social Council, the Trusteeship Council, and the Secretariat. And we will talk about all the organs in the next upcoming videos. So I will end the video over here. Thanks for watching and